evening, everyone, and welcome to another Friday Night Top Split presented by Ryco Performance here, live from the virtual Richmond Raceway. I'm Taylor Burris. Alongside me is Justin Prince and, of course, our favorite producer, Mr. Austin Derbyshire. Justin, we are here in beautiful Richmond, Virginia to see some short track action here once again tonight at this 3/4 mile oval. But we know for a fact that there will be one thing, and that's chaos happening here tonight.
Richmond is always an intense racetrack. The action track, after all, has seen a lot of bumping and banging already this week, whether it's in Road to Pro, whether it's in the league scene, whether it's been in official races. But tonight, this 3/4 mile circuit going to bring plenty of challenges for your top drivers when it comes to the next-gen machines. You see that aerial look of Richmond Raceway here tonight. That exit at a turn 2 expected to be treacherous because of the chances of drivers slipping and sliding. We've already seen that several times across multiple different series this week as well. Expect the run at a turn 4 on cold tires to be even more difficult. There were a lot of drivers in some of the leagues called throughout the week, in fact, Taylor, because of those cold tires. This is a track where you need to buckle up, get ready, and hope you stay clean because of how tricky it can be as the night progresses.
Absolutely. Currently, as we will take a look at the point standings for tonight's race, as qualifying is currently underway, it's Nicholas Vroman who still stands atop the leaderboard right now as they work their way through. Garrett Main sits in second, Matt DiCiani, Joseph Gulata, Alex Murray round out your top 5 here as they work their way through to get things set up. But still a lot of races still going on, and looking through the field, you see drivers such as Mike Ellis working his way up through the standings after some good runs so far this season, picking up a couple of top 10s here. But also we're seeing a lot of drivers in this split seeing if they can try to pump their way up further into the standings as we get closer and closer to the summer stretch.
You have so many drops available, right? You have to be able to start solid in a race like this tonight. This could be an important one, but let's talk about the keys to the race tonight. The first key that came to mind is survive. As simple as that may sound, any damage accumulation, any broken tie rods, any broken front bumpers, anything is going to put you behind and have to force you into the hornet's nest when you have to go and pit and repair. Patience is going to be important. Being patient on how to have to make passes. 200 laps the distance tonight. It takes up to 10 laps per pass in some cases to get the passes right. And also, I referred to this a little bit before, buckle up, because it's expected to be a long night, potentially on cautions, on incidents. You can't let your intensity and feelings from said intensity get so high that it clouds your judgment. Buckle up and make sure you're ready to try and survive, and be patient, because if you aren't, all three combined, you're not going to win this race.
Absolutely. I mean, this track here puts on a lot of great racing here. As we get ourselves situated, we're going to go ahead and make our drivers' picks. And for those of you who are tuned in live here on GridVision, make sure to tell us who your pick is for tonight's win. My pick tonight is going to go with that number 95. He's your points leader. But that Ryco Performance forward is Nicholas Vroman. Justin, how about you?
I'm with the same choice as you, in fact, when talking about it, because he's already the series points leader. He's been rapid quick. We've been knowing that for about 5 years now, since all the way back when Cale Gill restarted the development program a few years back through Legacy. He's your my one watch.
And our producer, Mr. Austin Derbyshire, he went with another Ryco Performance driver, another strong competitor himself, Jacob Schneider in the 0-2 machine. We're going to keep an eye on them, and as the field works their way through, about a minute and 20 left to go in qualifying here. A couple of drivers still trying to set pace. The weather right now, it's a nice spring evening here at Richmond as they get themselves situated. 71 degrees is the air temperature, 72 is the track temperature. Winds out of the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. Not really going to be affecting too much here at this track, Justin, as far as with the wind and the weather, but that lower temperature as the race progresses, that's going to help with the grip quite a bit.
And that's going to be something to keep an eye on, especially as the more rubber plants down, the more potential of the middle groove becoming a bigger line to come into play. Have to keep an eye, though, on as this night progresses.
as we take a look at what's to come here. And of course, this is the last Ryco performance broadcast for the week before we get set to go once again next Monday with the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split, as we continue a little bit of the trend for short track racing at Martinsville, both on Monday and Tuesday. Don't forget also, this Tuesday is the Stars Championship season finale at Sebring as well on Tuesday, so a doubleheader on Tuesday night. Then Wednesday we have the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC at Michigan to kick off the Dash for Cash for these drivers. And then, of course, TNT Thursday Night Thunder will return in May, and then we're back here next Friday night at Martinsville. So it's going to be another exciting and busy week in the world of GridVision. But now it is time to give you your starting lineup for tonight's racing action here at Richmond Raceway, as the field gets themselves situated behind Fred, the pace car driver, still hashtag bring back Benny, but it's Nicholas Vroman and Alex Murray on the front row, and then it's going to be Austin Fitzgerald and Sean Conklin, a driver who's been on an absolute tear for the past couple of weeks in NiS competition. Moving on down the line in row 3 is Jacob Schneider and James Houghton in those positions in 5th and 6th. Then Miller Bonds and Paul Bragoli in row number 4. Rounding out your top 10 is Edward Shear Jr. and Patrick Gitter.
Tommy Gossett starts off 11th tonight. He'll start alongside the legacy driver of Dalton Collins. Then it's Toko Hashida, who will start 13th. The Japanese driver alongside Brandon Wilkinson, the railroad spotter. Joshua Watson starts 15th. They'll be alongside Corey Cook. Then it's Matt Cox and Jordan Booth in the top 18. Riding at the top 20, keep an eye on one of the drivers looking to charge ahead from a road racing team specialty of Cody Richardson and Omar Diallo. He'll make a start tonight from dead zone.
In 21st position, it will be Bruno Piera, followed by Miguel Bento in that number 7 Toyota, followed by Nicholas Patovich and PB Henry in row number 12. Row 13 will have Logan Powers and Bruno Milo, followed by Joseph Ciotti and Sean Rogers in 27th and 28th. Rounding out your top 30 is Rodrigo Franzoni and Jason Wallet.
31st, last qualifier on time, Jacob Klein. He set at 22.2 in qualifying, just alongside James Milbuckler. Then it's Lee Salmaso, still trying to revive HPM alongside Thomas Hazard. Alan Pajari, he'll look to charge from the very back from Dynamic Motorsports alongside Nolan Hodgson. Hunter C. Johnson is the last driver to enter the field. They'll be at the tail in 37 cars for top split. The SOF 5,137.
Good thing we have 2 GridVision commentators competing in tonight's race. Of course, we have, Nicholas Vroman, who we've used a few times for the Monday night top split event. And then, of course, Luis Salmosa, we've had a couple of times as well in some broadcasts in the past here on GridVision. So we'll see a little bit of a commentator's battle here tonight. So going to be a little fun to watch the action here, Justin.
It's going to be an interesting one to see if Vroom Vroom can hold on after all. Or should I say Vroom Vroom Vroman, as he now likes to be called for the nickname. I see he's adapted to that nickname I gave him a while back. But he's going to have a lot of challenges. Especially, I think, Conklin and Snyder you can throw into that mix. Conklin already has ran RTP here in Top Split at Richmond. And it looks like everybody from the Ryco group is trying to wreck each other before the start. This is an interesting hello to the field.
What a way to kick off tonight's action already, with a little bit of chaos happening here to kick off tonight's race at Richmond. 200 laps for tonight's race, so if everything goes well, you're looking at just about, well, I'm going to just say from what the official counter is saying, about an hour and 11 minutes, but we know for the fact of how racing can happen here at Richmond, we could be looking at a 2-hour race at least.
You have to be prepared for cautions, precautions, but we'll find out how the field plays this. Former same setup groupings alongside Roman inside. Team Conti on the outside. Let's see how this goes.
Brett, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn as the Ryco Performance green flag is out. We're racing here at Richmond, and already there you see Vrooming just vrooms away, and we're already 4 wide, heading off into turn 1. Conklin trying to battle with Schneider and Alex Murray as they go 3 wide through the middle of turn 1 and 2. Out of turn 2, and Murray will be able to clear both Conklin and Schneider for the second spot as everyone jockeys around for position.
And as to be expected, One of the dynamic autosports machines screaming in terror to drop away from that. That was aggressive, to say the least, from the Ryco machines. Already some aggressive sends with James Howden looking to jump in. Fourth top 5 already, Ryco backed.
Here comes the drivers as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Conklin has the outside lane. There you see Schneider on the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side, almost makes contact with his Ryco Performance teammate as they try to jockey for position. Justin, I mean, a little early to be battling here for position. We still have quite a bit of racing left to go. Oh, as one car hits the wall, was that Brigoli who tapped the wall off turn number 2? Yes, it was. He gathers it back up, but still a little too early maybe for some of the battling, but I think a lot of these drivers also with the fresh tires want to go ahead and just find their position, get in quickly before they start running out of tires.
I'll put it this simply, this is your best opportunity to make up ground on the starts and restarts tonight because of how difficult it is with the dirty air here. That's why you're seeing Brigoli being forced to try that second line. The bottom line going to be the better line as the run goes on for single file. You can defend up top. Also expect some shifting. If you hear over the radio and over that audio, a lot of drivers are using those lower gears to try and get that extra boost compared to, say, the fixed set.
Have a couple of drivers jockeying for position and some contact a little further back. But they are able to keep it clean and green for the moment as they work their way through. That's the 7 of Patrick, or not the 7, that's Miguel Bento right there in the number 7 machine as he works his way up to the field. He's in a very tight battle right now with the 45 machine, Patovich and several others as they work their way down into turn 3 and 4. So far, everyone's just having a good run, keeping it clean and green for the time being as we go up to the 0-1 machine just up the road of Joshua Watson.
Yeah, Watson amongst those keeping an eye on a little bit. Not able to get too much ground yet, but has been trying to poke many times. You know who's trying to poke a lot back around here? This is starting to get a little bit divey to be able to defend. Joseph Piscata amongst those. I'm keeping an eye on in that blue machine. Already trying to pull back Patovich. They are having an outright battle here for this 19th, 18th position. Somebody hit the inside wall. Miguel Bento, believe, just had a drift and a half after contact from behind from PB Henry. And here we go again.
Caution is out for the first time here tonight as Cody Richardson in the Mad Spartan 36 machine and several other drivers, including the 12 machine. Trying to get the number of that one because that was a hard hit by those two drivers as Miguel Bento, there you see, checks up and then it just causes this accordion effect.
Yeah, that was Ryco Franzoli's seeing the hole on the outside. Problem is, Matt Cox looked to want to close it, Taylor. It's kind of the thought of where do you go? It was 3 wide, yes. But the thing is, one, Cox was already thinking it was going to be clear, came up, closed the door in Franzoli when it was already left wide open on the initial send. A lot of significant damage already. Cody Richardson, who wasn't even a main trigger, just got the worst of it, though.
Absolutely here, and now he's got to find a way to re-rack and come down pit road, but Cody Richardson, significant damage right there to the right side, so he's got a little bit of work to do to try to get that fixed, and then, of course, several other drivers with more severe damage. There you see the 33 machine of Bruno Piera coming off pit road. The 32 machine also coming down pit road as well to get some damage done. And then Rodrigo Franzoni, significant damage to his number 12 Bread King machine.
As expected, though, a lot of drivers staying out because the fuel run for the next-gen car can go up to 120, 130-ish laps on fuel. So you technically don't really need a pit for a little while. Also, fall-off hasn't been as dramatic as some may think. I've seen the fall-off this week, Taylor, as far as just a second, maybe a second and a half if you are good on this track. So if you can keep the tires underneath you, you can keep the car pretty well maintained.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, Justin, if you want to take care of your equipment, you can make it a 1, maybe 2 stop race, but we know for a fact some of these drivers are going to probably want tires more likely than their fuel.
I think, especially by lap 40, that's where if you're amongst those in the front, that's where it's more of a concern. There's 5 tire sets in the pits, mind you, to consider. So there's plenty of tires, but you don't want to burn a set on lap 10, lap 11. by lap 40, that's when I think, okay, let's see if it's set time.
Trying to do a little bit of math here tonight. I know we don't really do math when it comes to GridVision, but if you are to come down pit road to change tires every 40 laps, you're looking at about 5 pit stops.
Under caution, I meant. If it's a green flag race, you're doing 1 stop.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But we know for a fact, as we just now see, caution number 1 here on lap number 10.
This restart should be pretty interesting, though, because the lights are out. I don't think the top line's ready.
I don't think so either, but we're ready to go. Fred makes the hard left turn. Barney has the green flag in hand. We're back at it, and there you see the 2 Ryco machines, and really close call right there of Sean Conklin about trying to jump down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to go 3 wide with Alex Murray and Jacob Schneider. He does get to the bottom and will be able to try to now battle for that 3rd spot. Can't do it as now contact. Big shunt right there by Alex Murray to the back bumper of Schneider, who allows Conklin now to sneak his way on by.
That was an aggressive send for Murray, and that shuffles him to the heart of the pack. Not the smartest of plays. It is still 3 wide, multiple rows deep. Murray, my goodness, just about squished out Miller Bonds.
This is a little too aggressive right now, I have to say this early on. We just had a caution where drivers were getting a little aggressive and bouncing off the wall, causing the incidents. But now it's time to figure out what you need to do in order to set yourselves up and find that line in order to just log some laps. More contact. The 41 of Houghton is around in front of the field as they come out of turn number 2. Multiple cars involved. I think one was also Alex Murray involved in this one. James Houghton included.
And tempers runneth over. And I believe that was Edward Short Jr. who may have just caused that on the cross with James Houghton. And there is a main thing at Richmond, too. You don't want to cross the streams too much with how tight it was getting there. Houghton, well, he crossed the streams for the diamond. A car was there.
Oh, yeah. Significant damage to Alex Murray. Significant damage to several other drivers. But only 2 were turned around completely of both Murray and Houghton. We'll get another look at the replay right there.
Yeah, he just confirmed on the radio he was trying to get back in line, Taylor.
Yeah, I just heard it myself. So, yeah, tough break for James Houghton here in the early stages. And it's going to be a long night for him if he's going to be in this position.
Yeah, doesn't seem as bad as some may think, but it is still damage repair time. It's been wild, though, for everybody except for the leader, though, because that outside line didn't get going at all off that restart. I think it's going to be a little bit more communicative with it being teammates 1, 2, 3 here. So it should be a more in-sync jump. On the bright side, Cody Richardson back on the lead lap.
And we only have 1 car. Go ahead.
I was about to say, what were you going to say?
I was going to say we only have now 1 car who is 1 or more laps down. That is Rodrigo Franzoni. James Houghton is trying to stay on the lead lap at the moment, but he might go a lap down, possibly, along with Alex Murray.
Yeah, I think right now Franzoni's going to need a lot of luck here. I will say this, we were talking about this before the race. In RTP last night, Max Brady, yes, that Max Brady, went from 7 laps down to the top 10 by the checker flag in 150 laps.
Well, I mean, so it shows it can be done.
You just need everybody to crash about 15 times over.
And not go another lap down.
That too. Or get in a crash and hope no one else ever gets lapped. And that you don't floor it into an incident. There's so many variables. It's fun.
There is indeed here, as they're going to line themselves back up. A couple of drivers have worked their way up into the top 10 during that situation. Miller Bonds, Brandon Wilkinson, Austin Fitzgerald, and Dalton Collins breaks into the top 10 for the first time here tonight, sitting in 10th position in that number 95 Champions Power Equipment Chevrolet. So we'll see how this plays out for him. He's got the 80 machine of Tommy Gossett in the Ryco Performance U.S. Air Force Ford Mustang. So that's going to be a fun little battle to watch the two drivers go at it between Reaper and Ryco.
I still think Omar Diallo is the third portion of that yet to consider because, while you have Diallo, who was amongst those, actually was the pole sitter in top split for RTP last night. That's another one of those drivers that's on backing that, in theory, should be lightning quick. He's already up to about 12, up 9 spots with all these cautions, but also has been good on the short pace.
He really has. He's picked up multiple positions since the start of this race, so we'll see how this plays out for them as they get themselves set up and head into the restart zone. Fred, the pace car driver, will make that hard left turn down onto pit road. As Barney the Flagman has the green flag in hand, we're back at it, and Broman, another great jump on the field as he'll slide in front of Conklin. Conklin will drop down to the bottom, a little bit more better able to get themselves situated.
Nicely done off the start for now at the front. That was to be expected. Behind them, not so much, because you have a lot of drivers trying to sort out what they want to do with that 2 and 3 wide offset. Collins looks like he's just trying to find a hole, same for Wilkerson, although it looks like Wilkinson, should say, just wants that inside for himself.
He certainly is. He's going to try to hug that inside line as best he can in that number 56 machine as they work their way down the back straightaway. And right there on the top side, we see the driver of Paul Bergoli along with the driver of Miller Bonds, who's trying to get a good run going on that outside lane. But that inside lane is the key to place you need to be. The outside can come maybe later on in the run if we have a long green flag run, Justin, but right now it's no situation where that outside line is your friend right now.
And as we're remembering some of these battles, no in-person spotters except for the 36 Cody Richardson throughout this entire field tonight. You have to be able to keep your head high, but also keep mind of what's going around you. Wilkinson, we know, longtime spotter in virtual racing, but also in real-world racing. This year, becoming the real-world spotter with Billy Venturino and Gino Ruggiero, including a part of their win in ARCA competition in the past few days.
Good to see some drivers utilizing the sim world to help improve their real-world racing. As a little close for comfort right there between Wilkinson and Miller Bond.
Back straight away, somebody just floored it into the wall or got the wall. Corey Cook is around. We stay green. That was 21st.
Number 16, McConey Chevrolet, having some significant problems as he does, or 61 machine. He will get going. And now he has to worry about trying to stay on the lead lap because your leaders are coming quickly.
28 in sim. Let's take a look at this on the replay. And remember turn 2, that came into play. Caution in live action. It is not Corey Cook. You know who it is? It's Alex Murray apparently saying sorry on the radio. Yeah, that's going to do it.
Yeah. Little bit too much aggression once again.
Miguel Vento, as to be expected, not happy, believe on the radio, and a couple others, but that was clear cut. Dive hard inside. There was no space to dive.
No, there wasn't. I mean, that was kind of a little bit silly right there, I have to say.
But it is quintessential Richmond.
It is.
Still a little bit.
Player.
Yeah, and this is, again, to one of my main points. You have to buckle up, but also keep steady as leaders are going to stay out. As to be expected, we are still not at a window, in theory, to be able to take tires and have a major advantage. We've only ran like 10 laps, our longest run at best.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, we've had 3 cautions already so far. It's kind of silly to come down pit road right now because you still have some pretty fresh tires for the most part.
There is some advantage to it. My downside is you have to pass 20 cars to use the tires. Tommy Gossett, interesting enough, is the only one from the top 20 who just pit. He had a clean race car. Everybody else, I think, is just saying, again, like we were talking about, keep track position It's too early to use up a set. But here's the thing. Next caution, don't be surprised if Gossett stays out and becomes the leader.
Big possibility indeed right there, Justin, as he will exit off pit road. He will be sitting in 28th position, so right there in the hornet's nest with a lot of those drivers involved in incidents here recently, such as Alex Murray, Nolan Hodgkins, Miguel Bento, Jason Walla, and many more. So under caution here, 30 laps are up on the board out of 200. Closing in on the quarter distance of tonight's racing action here at Richmond Raceway for the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split. Of course, tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Ryco Performance for some of the top premier setup shops for any form of racing in the oval racing world on iRacing. Make sure to go visit rycoperformance.gg to get your best setup in the business. As you see here, for the past few weeks, Ryco Performance drivers have been wrapping up the Friday Night Top Split and Monday Night Top Split, as they have custom-tailored setups to fit your racing needs and coachings for you to learn from the best of the best in the sim. Make sure to learn more information at rycoperformance.gg for more. Lights are out on the pace car as we get ourselves situated, ready to go back racing once again. It is going to be, once again, Nicholas Vroman, Sean Conklin, Schneider, Shear Jr., Gitter, your top 5, Brigoli, Wilkinson, Miller Bonds, Austin Fitzgerald, and Dalton Collins, your top 10.
And once again, Ryco supremacy. It's been kind of the trend this year when it comes to NiS competition. It has been for a while. It's been difficult to stop the Ryco excursion, but I think especially when you talk about someone like Vroman, there's a reason that he's been on people's radars for now 2 to 3 years. He's in prime position, my honest opinion, if he can get these together to be in the Coke Series the next couple years. The thing is, keeping the momentum is going to be the huge thing. Here's part of the stepping stones, or at least the old method used to be. Doing well on NiS and beating Garrett Maines while doing so, and break Garrett Maines' championship streak while doing so.
Yeah, that is the case. Of course, Garrett Maines not racing tonight, but here recently, Garrett Maines has not been able to have the best of lucks when it comes to racing in NiS.
I mean, Garrett's also a Ryco driver, so that pattern isn't being broken yet.
Nope, it has not. It's still Ryco Performance drivers winning on it Friday Night NiS here as they come out into the restart zone. It's Vroman and Conklin side by side. Conklin looking to go 3 for 3 when it comes to NiS Friday Night broadcast splits, as he works his way to lead the charge. Heading off into turn 1, though, Nicholas Vroman and then Conklin Schneider in a battle with Shear Jr. as they come off turn 2.
Keep it on Patrick Gitter this run, already looking solid. Top 5, trying to hold off the lines. For many circles, he's considered as one of Team Conti's best oval prospects. Whether it's been in the EPI colors or now with the Conti move over in the past few months or so, he is one of the drivers that has the skill set to be able to outrun some of the Ryco drivers when he gets track position. He's trying to fight it with a teammate trying to battle in front.
He is trying to do his best here as he's trying to follow behind Edward Shear Jr., but can't seem to find the hole he needs in order to make the run up towards the top 3.
But that didn't work out well with Edward Shear Jr. in the wall. But keep an eye, though, on some of these others. Diallo did get a good restart a few restarts ago through the gears. Looking to recover, but others like Fitzgerald, that's one of the dynamic machines. They're dropping backwards and causing a logjam.
They certainly are. They are trying to find a way to get around the traffic here, as almost some close calls right there with the 91. Almost getting sent around by the 9 machine as they come off of turn number 2, but they are able to get a little bit of breathing room as Diallo struggling to try to get around the 01 machine, of course, right there in the mix of Joshua Watson as they come off of turn 4.
Lots of chippiness over the radio currently, especially in the heart of the field. I was going to say, Taylor, this is a little bit almost too chippy with how things are looking. A lot of drivers are nearly scraping these walls on these sends, and that is a concern. If you continue to slide up and up and up like that, that's going to be worse and worse for you on the right front.
It really is, and that's not going to be good. Of course, we are now approaching that 40-lap stage point of the race where we could see some drivers falling back in the field, some drivers working their way up with those who have the fresher tires. Tommy Gossett He came down pit road. He sits 25th right now. Really hasn't made the run up towards the front of the field like we expected.
I wasn't expecting him to charge through the field, I was going to say. I was expecting if there was a caution for him to stay out. This is the difficult part on anybody electing a pit. They have to get by. You see this 2x2x2x2x2. Yes, I described basically a multidimensional cube, but it basically means you're not going to make a pass unless somebody makes mistakes. It will take time, even on fresh tires, to get through all these cars.
Yep, hard to pass right now for our drivers as we watch on with Watson, who's having a battle with Austin Fitzgerald just up ahead of him as he's trying to find his opening in the acoustic design Chevrolet as they come through the middle of turn 3 and 4. So far, no avail at the moment as he will stay tucked up behind, but right behind them, Omar Diallo and Joseph Pisciato, who are having a spirited battle as well for that 13th position, 12th position actually, as Diallo is able to make the pass complete as he tries to now go around the outside of Fitzgerald for position.
Yeah, a lot of drivers saying, you know what, let's try the second group because this is around the time we just talked about it, and actually seen this come into play in a couple of league races already, where that outside groove is going to become a better line to be able to make passes. Because there's so many drivers bottom side that you have to keep an eye on. It's just quicker to roll it top side and then pitch coming off the corner, make the pass. Dante Collins, though, you gotta have to be careful. He's one of those you do not want to get tighty with. He's not afraid with the elbows, just like we've seen there.
Yeah, absolutely. He is definitely going to be one who will put the elbows out and be ready to fight for position here as he's trying to hold on and move his way up further. He sits 8th position, just completed the pass on Paul Brigoli, and now he's got a little bit of time to make up about 0.6 of a second to make up to Miller Ponce.
Omar! Wow. That was close. That's called get out of the way, please.
Well, we expect to see the chrome horn being used tonight. We've already seen it used a couple of times so far. What's one more to throw in as they head off into turns 1 and 2 as Diallo tries to see if he can go around the outside of Brigoli. Try to get that outside lane going, but not going to work. He's going to lose a little bit of time now to Brigoli.
Yeah, and Omar Diallo, I think, with all these pokes 3 wide, is basically saying, I'm quicker, not going to matter, caution.
Looks like Hisada in the number 37 Ford has looped it around. Take a look at the replay to see what happened here.
It's not been a pretty NiS season. I've raced him a few times. He can get loose at times, and he definitely got loose. Nowhere for Bruno Monaco was set to the back bumper, and the 37 somehow, no mandatory repairs, did knock the wall down and then some.
Yeah, right here off turn 2, the car just snaps on him. He almost saves it, but unfortunately the bump right there from the 23 of Bruno Milo is going to send him around fully around and make that damage happen.
Yeah, and he's going to have to make sure all the damage is fixed because here's the thing. Another thing that popped up at Bristol, the issues with tie rods. He's going to have to make sure those tie rods work because he won't find out if they're broken until he gets to the green flag, and then that could be a spark. As expected, everybody else in except for, no surprise, Tommy Gossett.
Two of the drivers include James Houghton, James Milbachler, Corey Cook, and Alan Pajara, as Sean Conklin will win the race off pit road. Nicholas Vroman, then Jacob Schneider, Edward Shear Jr., Patrick Gitter, and Brandon Wilkinson. Your top 5 as they race off pit road.
But as expected, a lot of those drivers who had already pit the last caution did exactly what I thought. Stay out this caution, get track position. If they hold on until the next time everybody pits, they're in the net positive. If they get absolutely wrecked here, they're definitely not in the net positive, but they're going to be in the net negative at the very minimum.
They certainly are, and that's going to be a big question mark to see how the handling of these cars will be and how well of a restart they will get when we go back green flag racing. Tommy Gossett, James Houghton, I have a feeling they'll be okay. Milbachler as well. It's Corey Cook, who I'm going to keep an eye on to see how well he's going to be able to manage his equipment. But then Sean Conklin and Broman with the fresh Goodyear Eagles, who will make a big run up towards the front.
believe Milbark was the teammate, if correct me if I'm wrong, with Wilkinson. So I think those two are going to be communicating, making sure they're in sync on how this is going to go up front, at least give the intel for the mid-pack. Corey Cook, though, is going to be in a little bit of an excursion period. With all that right front damage, this could be tricky. Sean Conklin, with that better pit stop, has a good spot with an inside line if it moves, with Cook having the damage outside in front of Roman.
Yeah, he was a 0.5 seconds faster than your driver of Nicholas Vroman, a 14.3 to a 14.8 between the two.
Yeah, and that's all coming down the difference on where you are on the marks, but also making sure how this car is going to be handling pretty soon as a whole. We already know for certain these drivers for fuel, I don't know if they're going to make it quite yet. They're still outside that mark for 20, 30 laps. However, still doesn't mean drivers didn't short fuel it and get a short run adjustment of, say, 15 gallons in it for handling.
Absolutely. We'll see how this all plays out here as the lights are out on Fred, the pace car driver. As they work their way out of turn number 2, we'll see how this stage is as we are quarter distance through tonight's racing action. And it's going to be Gossett and Houghton that will lead us to the Ryco Performance green flag. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms here on GridVision to stay up to date to all things sim racing as Fred makes the hard left turn down onto pit road. Barney the Flagman has the Ryco green flag in hand, and we are back at it. And a great jump by Tommy Gossett as they make the run, but here comes Sean Conklin down to the inside of Milbachler as they race into one.
And here we go, the wrecking. That was very fast, and yet again, not a surprise. Edward Scherer Jr., he got turned around and fast. 3 wide again. Does not work great at Richmond.
All right, gentlemen, it's time to settle it down just a little bit here as we'll take a look at the replay.
That's a view, but
That is a view.
This is even worse. Just tried to squish the middle line. Bond had a bit of a move inside already. Bergoli, nowhere to go.
Tough break for Paul Bergoli, who was looking to have a good points night, but unfortunately with that, that's going to be a little bit detrimental for his run if he's able to get back out onto the track. How about that? 4 wide right there. Collins moves Bonds up the track, which then moves up, of course, a couple of other drivers, and then, of course, collecting Bergoli right there in the mix. So a tough break indeed for Edward Scherer Jr. in this situation.
Even then, I can argue Edward could have been a little higher up on the racetrack in that 3 wide. Try to squish it 2 lanes. Like I said, Colin's not afraid to get the elbows out, and we already seen the elbows just about get broken apart by some of those trying to elbow back.
Absolutely here as they will come down pit road, and of course this will allow Tommy Gossett to hold on to the race lead along with Milbachler second. Conklin picked up a couple of spots during that short half a lap.
Yeah, Conklin got extremely aggressive, and I'm not surprised, but the aggression needed to get the run to the inside like that. He just didn't want to get held up, simply as that, and already Corey Cook, as soon as that happened, said, "Ole, I'll let you all go." Now, I think for Conklin, he's not going to go as aggressive on his own teammates. You definitely don't want to end up wrecking your teammates. That is a mindset I've heard said before from Ken Byron especially. Do not wreck each other for the lead. Work together. You don't want to end up having all 3 of your race-leading cars, let's say, into the fence on a dive bomb. So, I think for Conklin, he's got the pace. He can get it done, I think, in a couple laps if he takes his time.
That's the key. He's got to take care of his equipment and take his time in this stage of the race if he wants to work his way through. There you see the stats on Conklin as he will try to now make the run up to the race lead here once we go back green flag racing.
We'll say these are some nice looking new paint schemes in the past couple weeks, I've noticed. The purple of the new Hard Rock backed ones from the Ryco machines, I will say, are pretty nice. Taylor, your thoughts?
Absolutely, one of the nicest looking paint schemes indeed. Of course, me being a fan of purple too, it's great to see some great partners coming on board here, and give a shout out to not only Ryco, but of course the Hard Rock Casino. I believe it's the one in Tampa that they have.
Correct. That's, I believe, where Ken Byron's based out of, so able to get some good support there. I was going to say, speaking of nice paint schemes, we'll see if anyone else is able to flash ahead in some of the nice paint schemes. I just realized a lot of the paint schemes are near the exact same template outside of that. So I'm trying to find another paint scheme. Jason Wallet's Drexel eSports machine looks nice.
Absolutely. Don't forget, just as a reminder for all of those who are racing in the Monday night or Friday night top splits, make sure you put your paints on Trading Paints. That way we can utilize them and showcase them along with your custom number. Also, go visit us at GridVision.com to put your bio and your face in these races. That way we can let those who are watching here on GridVision know who you are and give a little bio about yourself. As Fred makes the hard left turn down to the pit road, we're about to go back racing. Green flag is out. Gossa gets another great jump on the field as they make the run down to turn 1. Conklin will follow as they head off into turn 1 and 2.
Like I said, expected that to be fairly easy, at least for second. Now it's just up to, does Gossett want to lead? Or does Conklin get the move? No, instead the wreck in the back.
Big trouble further back with Joseph Pisciato and several others. Paul Brigoli, Cody Richardson, also Toga Hesada, Edward Shear Jr., and several others.
Yeah, so I think it's Piscata you're referring to. Just quite simply, self-mistake. One of the biggest things you can do on this racetrack, hit the apron out of turn 2. He was trying to give him some bumps, but trying to get the diamond so much, he diamonded his way onto the apron, spins himself out. And this has not been the race for Franzoli because the 15 laps down driver, I think, just lost the lucky dog because he just hit the cars.
Yep, that will cost you the chance of doing that, so always going to see what the situation is. So we'll find out who will get the lucky dog, and nope, I think no one else will.
Yeah, just quite simply hits the flat, destabilizes the car. Once you get that across the treads, nothing you can do, and a lot of those drivers weren't expecting to slide back up in the traffic. So an interesting one, Taylor, breaking out.
Yeah, absolutely here. I mean, we are now approaching lap 60, so drivers need to try to find a way to work their way through. So we're looking through the field right now to see who some of our biggest movers are since the start of the race. Milbuckler is definitely the one who's looking to be in prime contention of that. Started 32nd, sitting in 3rd now.
Yeah, I'm curious what the mindset of the driver should say is amongst this with all the craziness going on. I believe it or not, we have Luis Salmoso standing by. You know what? We still have about a lap and a half, 2 laps. Luis Salmoso, it's your favorite person in the world. It's Justin Prince. How are you feeling? How about you talk to Taylor?
Luis, you have a copy over the radio?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about some of the situations that you've had to deal with trying to negotiate the chaos of which is Richmond.
I don't think we have enough time to go over everything. This thing has been chaotic from the get-go. So, but it's been fun. It's been fun. A lot of guys being very aggressive on the gas very early on. A lot of pushing and shoving. A lot of moving. So it's been quite tricky to navigate the cars and the track at the same time.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, you also are trying to make a big push to bring back a very well-known, reputable team, of course, the HPM team. And how has that been going so far since the new rebrand and revamp of this team?
The plan was to just put the name back on the track, right? When HPM went through a purchase and then broke it off with the company that had bought the rights, because the name was just sitting out there, this was too big of a name to just be left in the garage underneath a tarp. So I said, you know what? let's just start very slowly, bring the car back. Every broadcast that I'm in, try to put the car in the best position possible just to show it off. Who knows? Maybe in the next couple of years, next couple of seasons, we'll start to bring some guys back and really start to make a push to put HPM back where it's supposed to be. That is up front in the grid in every race that he goes in.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we'll let you get ready to get settled in for this race. We'll hopefully talk to you later on in tonight's racing action. That is Luis Salmosa, of course, in the HPM machine as we get ourselves back racing. 62 laps are about to be completed out of 200. Green flag is back out as they make the run towards turn one. Tommy Gossett gets another great jump, but Sean Conklin, along with Vroman, looking to try to capitalize on that as Conklin takes the lead into one.
Just looks like Gossett didn't get the greatest launch of the gears. Just said, you know what? Go ahead, teammates. Take the outside. I'm going to let you all go. How about a 1, 2, 3, 4?
It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 Ryco drive as they work their way off of turn number 4 across the line. It's going to be Conklin who will finally take over the race lead here tonight, as now we see Vroman sitting in third and Schneider moves up to P2 after making a good pass as trouble in the back. Another caution once again. Looking to see what happened.
I think Miguel Bento may have just found some more friends. And it sounds like Nicholas Padovic yet again. Second time apparently they've traded paint.
Oh boy, let's see what happened. Oh, right there before they even enter the corner. But oh, right there. He'll loop it around in front. Well, that's 2, as Miguel Bento would say, similar to what Kyle Busch said to Christopher Bell last week at Circuit of the Americas. So I wonder what happens when we hit 3.
I'm pretty certain you can take a guess what 3 is. What's the 3-strike policy? 3 strikes and I send you?
I believe so.
iRacing doesn't approve of that, obviously.
No, they
but
do not.
People play off that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually for Ryco, but Gossett on the older tires, I think, is just like, I know you're quicker. I'll let you go ahead for now. I just want the track position instead of being in the teens, be in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through. I mean, people would think this is probably the safest place to be for the moment. Of course, we can't say what will happen as we get 10, 30 more or 30 to 30 more laps into the stage where we get closer and closer to the finish. So we'll see how this plays out, as now the number 91 of Joseph Pisciato will get the lucky dog to get back onto the lead lap.
I will say one thing. I know Leeds and I don't have the greatest of relationships, but I felt very iced out during that interview.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean?
I was just saying, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, unless the only thing I can think of there, Justin, is either Lewis misheard or something happened.
It's not important. But what is important is the race chat is in full iRacing chat mode. I'm pretty certain the field's about to have a wild time here because it's time to start singing, apparently, in the session.
Well, will we have Country Roads, or what song will we have tonight? I don't know. We're about to find out as we get closer and closer through more cautions coming out tonight.
Wheels on the bus go round and round?
Possibly. So we want to hear from you. Which song do you think these drivers will start singing over the radio? And unfortunately, we won't be able to pick it up here in the stream, but we will let you know when that does happen.
But I will talk about this. Right now in a race like this, short run pace and mid run pace are going to be the big things. You know there's going to be cautions. Long run pace is absolutely wonderful in case you get the long run pace, Taylor. But it's the type of race you need to be able to qualify well. We've already seen that be the big thing. The only ones really able to stay up front from the back are the ones who got track position by staying out so far. You need to be smart on the calls the rest of the way. We're already seeing that with how some of the drivers who stayed out previously are nearly lining themselves near perfectly to get in sync when everybody else main grouping majority wants to pit.
Absolutely here, and we'll see how this plays out as we move a little closer. We're about to go back green flag racing. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a run in for these drivers. See if we can at least try to go to at least the halfway point without a caution. Doubtful, but we'll find out as the drivers work their way up. As Roman gives a little bit of shake of the tires, try to get him situated, get some heat built up. As they work their way into the restart zone, Barney the Flagman has the green flag in hand. We're back at it racing here once again, and Sean Conklin checks out on the field as they make the run into turn 1. The two Hard Rock Tampa machines will go side by side through the middle of turn 1 and 2.
Already 3 wide though. Diallo just about squeezed out Collins. He wants to go places and fast on that outside group.
Collins will go up to the top side now as he's stuck in a bad position trying to find his opening to get his way further up the field. He's outside the top 10 once again in 13th, and the caution is out as Bruno Piera will go around in the grass.
Yeah, Bruno Pereira on his own yet again. And remember the turn 4 part. I'm pretty certain we just seen that. He's on older tires, but if you flat-foot it out of the corner and your car doesn't have the good downforce setup in it, whoops.
Whoops-a-daisy indeed. Right, we got the caution, though, because he was technically out of the racing group, but the caution does pick up. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with more racing action here live for the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split on GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to GridVision coverage of the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split. And green flag is back out. Sean Conklin once again will hold on to the race lead here on this restart with Vroman and Schneider rounding out your top three. They'll go side by side as they're 3 wide further back. The 24 of Omar Diallo has been a man on a mission trying to slice and dice his way through the competition as Joshua Watson and Corey Cook are battling hard for position.
Yeah, no places to battle, no places to run at this point. Still trying to sort themselves out here with Diallo, trying to find the outside. But that was a big jump from Wilkinson. A lot of people are going to say some stuff there. His teammate, Milbach, not having good runs, though.
Milbach almost sent it down to the inside wall, was able to gather it back up and continue on his way for the moment, as they're still beating doors as they come across the front stretch.
4 wide look, though. That is going to be a dicey one from Salma, so got to be smarter than that.
Salmaso trying to get himself situated as they work their way down the back straightaway. He'll clear position and work his way up further. Currently sitting, trying to just check over. He's inside the top 15 for the moment, sitting in, well, 16th now as he dropped a little bit, but now trying to fight his way back up as Alex Murray gets pushed up the racetrack right there with Logan Powers.
Yeah, there's a lot of impatience building up, and there we go. Salmaso not going to like that. Here comes the fender just to look underneath. Try and force it 3 wide.
Justin, I mean, we've been seeing caution after caution here for the past few laps. What do you think is causing these drivers to be so aggressive? We know it's that time where you need to go and pass people, but also realize, hey, we've had multiple cautions back to back. We need to try to get some laps in.
It's iRacing.
That is true. That is true.
It's a short track, and it's iRacing. Every position's worth $1,000. Race lead is up for grabs, side by side.
It is Vroman to the inside of Conklin, side by side, battle for the race lead as they come out of turn number 4. Vroman just edging on that door right there of Conklin as Conklin squeezes them out of turn number 4 as the two Ryco teammates will battle for the race lead. Schneider in the catbird seat watching on. Houghton also a little further back, but he's about to have a battle with Patrick Gitter for the 4th spot.
No places to run, no places to squeeze, though. Conklin just has to do whatever he can to respectfully try and give space, but also respectfully not give it up easily here. Clean air is king. But Vroman seems to be a touch quicker right now, just can't get the positioning right.
Yeah, right. Last time by, they were almost identical in lap times. Houghton, though, and Gitter a little bit faster than your race leader as they cross the line. Last time by, both Houghton and Gitter faster than your race leaders, but due to the fact that they're racing so hard side by side for the race lead off turn 2, Conklin gives him a little bit of room. Same thing with Vroman, just giving that space, but still being aggressive to try to get the race lead away.
Oh, and that's going to get a little bit dicey. Conklin has just about been scraping the walls down, trying to give the space with the squeeze back from Vroman. You have to wonder if over the radio they start talking about, okay, I'm just getting a little too high up. Never mind, caution.
And it looks like the 45 machine, Patovich, having some problems. Did he finally get some help with this one? Nope, just loses it, and then Logan Powers comes in with a pump.
That was Hunter Johnson, in fact, just no space. That same paint scheme, similar types of issues. Just when you're loose like that, you need a lot of space to be able to save it. And then with this car, once you get that hard of a bump, good luck saving it. In that case, no chance of.
Yeah, tough break for Hunter Johnson. I gotta say, we gotta talk to some of these drivers about being a little more unique. We can't have multi-paint schemes and same numbers.
I mean, it's a free service. Well, it's not a free service, but it is free trading paints. Pit stops.
It is. And with that, everybody inside the front of the field is coming down pit road, except for Tommy Gossett, Luis Salmosa, Alex Murray, Mil Bachler, Pisciata, and Bruno Perea, Miguel Bento. So your top 7 decided to stay out.
Yes, and again, good pit stop from Conklin. He's been actually looking better through the pit boxes than Vrooman. But this is a bold call now compared to earlier. Now they're trying to play have more tire sets for later game in theory. And this is where stack-ups can really happen amongst this top four staying out here. Salmaso is amongst those on slightly newer rubber. But I'm curious about Pereira and Bento especially. Pereira's got the freshest out of those who stayed out. Partly because, well, he looped it before. Now this is going to be a massive test for the field, and this could be 3-4 wide time.
3, 4, maybe even 5 wide time here as we're 10 laps or about 11 laps away from halfway.
I think that might be part of it too, just trying to see if the fresher tires later build up, seeing if there's an extra set in general for later. Again, this is a track position play. Especially if you look at Alex Murray, he started with track position and then got ping-pong back. If you're Murray, you want it back. As long as you aren't ping-ponged again, it can work. Tommy Gossett really was the only one that, out of those who stayed out last wave, along with maybe Millblocker until his car faded, who got good traction from staying out.
He certainly did, and now we'll see how this all works out for him as they get themselves situated. As lights should be off on the pace car probably this time by here for your leaders to be going green flag racing once again.
I think the restarts aren't going to be the biggest problem here. The track itself hasn't changed temperature. The rubber buildup has definitely changed, though. That second groove is cooking.
Absolutely, and we're seeing some drivers trying to utilize that outside lane. I don't think it's ready just yet. And now if we do get that chance of a long green flag run, then there is the possibility of that working. But right now, so far with how many stop and starting we're getting, it's not going to work out right now.
Yeah, but again, this is going to be a patience test here with a lot of drivers who haven't been this far up in a bit. Now going to have to see, can they make it stick? Some of them, a quarter of the race long on the tires, that even with the amount of green flag runs we've ran, Taylor, that's still 20, 30 laps on the rubber.
It really is. So we'll see how this plays out as they work their way into the restart zone. And we will find out who comes out on top in this stage as we approach the halfway point. Out of the corner, green flag is out, and already Tommy Gossett checks out on the field. And they're going to go 3 wide for second as Murray moves up to P2 and 3 wide for third.
4 wide for the heart of the top 10. This isn't going to end well for some. 3 wide looks fine, but 4 wide dive.
Pet get her around, Vrooman around possibly.
Snyder involved in the wall. They are still wrecking big.
Diallo involved, Hisada involved. Multiple heavy hitters involved in this one.
Well, that's called give me all my spots right this second or else. 4 wide. 4 wide, Taylor. That's not going to work here.
I understand the importance of getting up through the field with fresh tires, but just give it a minute. That's all I can say. Like, let the car come to you.
And I think Gitter just got a lot of spots back from that somehow, but watch this from above. This is disaster in the first place. But at this point, you've got spotter calls offset 3, 3, 4. And just right there, Snyder is the one who ends up the little bobble, and that's enough to spark calamity. Gitter was able to avoid massive damage, but then you have Diallo, who was on the outside. He wrecked all the way to turn 3.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just absolutely crazy of how this all plays out.
He was the only one with the meatball flag out of that, and keep an eye on the 24. Just tries to run top, stay out of the way, and just got clipped by Gitter. It's the same situation. Hard to stabilize the car, and then everybody else joins in. There's a lot of chatter on the radio, I was about to say, about aggression. And just like that, This is going to be a lot of shuffling in theory for the mid-pack because here's the Yellows on board. And right in the wheel well.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be a good look right here for some of these drivers in this stage. So we'll see how it is. We are almost at halfway for our competitors. Just 5 laps away.
Oh, by the way, Conklin, Vrooman, and company did survive all that craziness. They gained spots before the field imploded, so there's your bright side. And Getter, despite getting Calamity destroyed on the side of his car, is still at 12th.
Very impressive, and not significant damage by the looks of it, so he was able to skate away from that one very quickly.
I don't know if it's going to be optimal, though, with some of the scrapes to the right rear. I'll just say, he's got a rabbit's foot to be able to keep all those spots despite spinning.
We'll see how this all plays out for him here.
This is going to be a difficult race the rest of the way. It's been made pretty clear, though, with the way the tone's been set. Hard to pass all night. Short run, the best place to pass, and that's really crossed over to a lot of aggression all night.
Absolutely here as they will line up. It's going to be Gossett and Murray who will lead us to the green flag. Milbachler and Salamosa. And then Bruno will round out your top 5. Then it's Pisciato, Vroman, Conklin, Bento, and Houghton rounding out your top 10.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go 4 wide again, though. I'll say that before it happens.
Oh, easily. We should be seeing 4 wide action possibly before this is all said and done. And with that, we're back at it racing here as they make the run to turn 1. Tommy Gossett finally gets another good jump on the field as Salamosa struggling. Here we go, 3 wide into turn 1. Conklin tries to hold the inside. He got Milbachler in there along with Pisciato as Miguel Bento gets sent to the wall. He's going to collect Dalton Collins. Tempers flaring already.
Hold on to it, guys. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. And somebody lost it at the back.
Possibly Nolan Hodgson or
Hunter Johnson again. Another caution. Second time he's gotten loose, I think, on his own.
Yep.
That was even lower than some of the bobbles from earlier. Just overcorrects back up the track. Thankfully, no one else was alongside, but there was another car behind, so that's why it got scored for the caution.
Mm-hmm.
On the bright side, cross flags at the flag stand.
Yes, indeed. We have made the halfway as we do, and 1 retirement only. Rodrigo Franzoni, the only car out of the race. We do have 1 car that is multiple laps down, as now Omar Diallo has taken it behind the wall. His night is done. So now 35 cars left in the race as we have crossed over the halfway point of tonight's action here on GridVision.
This is going to be another one of those intense restarts you have to think, though. I know there's a lot of chatter coming at this midway point. Is this strategy going to work for someone like Gossett? Honestly, with the way it's looking, you can argue it's going exactly to plan. Minus the everyone else crashing behind you, but it's working out with him in the lead.
I do got to say, this strategy can play out. You know, I have experience racing on some of these short tracks, not in the next-gen car, but in the Xfinity car, where if you stay at the front row and get the good jumps on the restart to hold on to the race lead, and the caution comes out, just re-rack and restack, just hit your marks on the restarts because of how this race is.
And you have to think. We've seen the top already work. That's why we're seeing so many people say, let's go high side off the restart. As well as, where else do you go except into an air car? But if we get a sustained run, I think that's where we'll see a lot of those on fresher tires try and run. Vroman, Howden, I think are my stars right now next to them on the fresh tires. Conklin, though, in fourth, he's running away from everybody else with that cushion because of how this is faring out. And this restart, there's already been some chatter. Give some respect to some of the messages on each other's bumpers. We'll have to see if anyone crosses the signals.
We'll see here momentarily.
And I'm surprised the lights are still on the pace car. I will say, this is allowing drivers like Wilkinson to find new bumpers for their cars.
Absolutely here, so we'll see how this works out. Trying to also find out, see how these drivers are going to be able to just try to find a way to play it nice for a couple of laps or for the next 35 minutes.
This restart is hopefully going to settle the field down. I say hopefully because for those wondering why we're pausing so much, the race chatter in the session has gone to, well, level 10 boredom. Let's find out if we get a run.
Let's find out as they work their way down the back straightaway, heading off into the restart zone. And with that, it's time to do a Rev It Up with Ryco Performance. And we are back under caution once again, as we'll take a look at the replay after we revved it up with Ryco. As we'll hopefully get a chance to take a look at the replay momentarily and see what happened. But Tommy Gossett will hold on to the race lead once again, and basically doesn't need to worry about coming down pit road anytime soon, I have to say, Justin.
Yeah, just keep staying out. Why not? It's another incident in the back this time. Oh my. I am very confused on what that was there. That was PB Henry, I think, I think we have to go further back. You know why? Nicholas Patovich may have just got launched by a Chevy. And there's that caused the checkup, that send there with the 45 up the road, and then everybody else is bundled up. And then a self-spin. Just, again, aggression leads to mistakes.
Which then leads to more cautions.
They're lucky they didn't have a 5-car pile up there. That, though, for Henry, I think that contact was kind of just the catalyst to that spin.
See how this all plays out. for competitors here.
So, Ryco.
Ryco, I mean, so far they're doing what they're doing best, and that's staying at the front of the field. I mean, they're looking to continue on with another strong performance like they have for the past 3 weeks. Sean Conklin, of course, picking up the last 2 wins at Bristol and then at Circuit of the Americas. So we'll see what happens here tonight. And so far, it's looking to be either Conklin or Gossett who could possibly come out on top. So far, keeping an eye, and then, of course, looking through the field here. And, yep, as we are talking in the chat, it is Short Track Madness once again.
I mean, that's what we expected here at Richmond. That's always been the expectation, that we'd see some sort of madness. It's just what type of madness we get. It depends on the field. And tonight, the madness is, well, very much so. There was a race name on Thursday that I want to use that was for a Swedish league called Svenska. They had the race called Nice and Cuddly. It's been everything but that tonight.
It certainly has not been nice and cuddly indeed. It has been a brawl for all of these drivers here tonight. Not giving an inch, but we're about to see what we can do here. Green flag is back out. We're racing once again here at Richmond, and Gossett gets another good jump. He will pull out in front of Conklin. Salamosa sits in third as he battles with Pisciato for that 4th spot. Gossett will give way to Conklin as they go side by side off turn number 2, and everyone makes it out of there on this lap as they work their way through the middle of turn 3 and 4. But for Sean Conklin, he will lead the lap here as one driver almost hits the wall off turn 4.
A little bit dicey yet again. Will they keep it calm for a moment? Honestly, pretty soon, Bruno Pereira's making me a little nervous with that line right now. A few of these drivers are missing the bottom of the racetrack and pretty quickly up a lane, nearly a half a lane, in fact. That might be trouble if someone tries to squeeze back.
Yeah, absolutely here. So Pereira needs to just find his way to take it easy, not try to shut the door too much on someone, and hopefully no one behind him decides to send it in 3 wide and send it deep in the corner. And we watch Schneider try to get around the 0-1 exit.
Yeah, there's nowhere to really go here. That's the tough thing. If you send it 3 wide, we've seen the dangers of that. You have a teammate on the outside, in case the Ryco side. Yeah, Pereira just trying to ride the bottom. Watson, I think, is just in that situation now, especially with Jacob Snyder alongside. Just ride. Wait for somebody to clear, then make the move once they single filed.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, for some of these drivers here, when the tires start to fall off, nobody's coming down pit road anytime soon, Justin. I mean, when it comes to this, if we go green flag for a while. So it's a matter of how well you take care of your equipment and how well you can make those passes once those tires start to fade, as Pereira gives a little bit of a shot to the back bumper of Milbachler. He'll go to the inside, 3 wide off turn number 4 as Schneider goes to the top side here. As Pereira will complete the pass on both of them, squeezes right in front of Milbachler as Watson splits different.
Oh, and that's a cut. Oh my goodness, that is teammate warfare.
And the caution is out, collected. Bruno Milo involved and several other drivers, as the nose of Milo is absolutely about to be gone.
Yeah, that was a very bad spot in the first place, you'd have to think there. Quite simply, I think Jacob Snyder seen the hole, tried to take it. Problem is, that was too close. There might have been a touch bit of air. But even when you factor in the tightness of the air, that was a tight window you had to dive through.
Yeah, that was... I don't see the point of sending it in right there, especially on a teammate, right, or a affiliate teammate on the inside.
You have to think there's going to be some apologies between them if they haven't already been in the Ryco commentary booths. But Joshua Watson already out of the race because of that. But again, I understand the reasoning. It's just, it was going to be tight.
Absolutely, a little bit too tight, I'd have to say. But it's over. We're now out of the race for Joshua Watson as we are on board with Schneider. Yeah, just the hole was not completely open, let's just say.
On the bright side, if you're Patovich, I believe he's back on the lead lap with the lucky dog. So we at least have how we have 34 still in the lead lap, let alone in the race, is beyond me.
I agree. We are only 3 cars out of Watson, Diallo, and Franzoni. Miguel Bento is the last car on the lead lap for the moment as he tries to beat the pace car off of pit road to stay on the lead lap in his number 7. As the lights are ablaze here tonight, the eve before Easter here in a couple of days to get started. So we hope everyone enjoys their holiday weekend.
And so far, the holiday feelings, they aren't all fuzzy right now for some. I will say Vrooman, yet again, is back in the ballpark for the race lead, with some of those drivers up front saying, I have to pit. But it, again, swings the strategy pendulum back for another caution or two from now to Gossett, Salazzo, Milbachler. They are committed to this.
Instead of wrecking drivers in this race, can we just give them a bunch of those confetti eggs and let them just start throwing it at each other?
You still have Easter eggs?
Well, I mean, you have a 7-year-old in the house. That is expected.
Apparently, Kinder Eggs are still a thing in Canada. Please don't eat them in the States. There are toys in them. There's a reason that's the case. But as a certain producer might say, one of them wants to have a Good Friday.
Well,
I can hear the cringe in the silence.
I mean, just to be glad Nick Stein isn't here to be the pun police tonight.
Yeah, that's an understatement, but I think we're about to have a good battle on our hands because the 2 teammates up front again, they were fighting tooth and nail. Conklin did scrape the wall a couple times, but it's been respectful racing between the 2 Ryco machines. Now we have to see if Conklin's going to get the squeeze right from the bottom with Vrooman looking vroom.
Well, we'll find out here as they work their way into the restart zone. Green flag is out. We are back at it here. 122 laps on the board as they make the run over to turn 1. Pisciato heads down into turn 1 and 2 to the inside of Nicholas Vrooman. Vrooman trying to hold on the outside, gets a good run off corner exit. Houghton will follow as there's a wreck behind. Caution is out again as another big one happens here.
And everybody who was in the heart of the fresh tire pack was right in the thick of that. And this is the risk of pitting. I believe it was Cook that might have been the trigger, although there are at least 5 of them. Hazada, blown motor.
Well, at least some of these drivers are enjoying working on their restart capabilities.
I mean, I think people are well versed at that point. It's just, at this point, keep an eye on that 28 up the road. You've seen the green and white machine more, so that's my big concern. This part, I'm not so mad about. Right here is just everybody who was involved has to run away. And unfortunately, everybody instead runs over each other as chaos reigns in that back straightaway because of the walls. Works like basically a funnel. Again, Cook, the 28, I think is the car you need to watch because right here, bounces off Collins, that gets him loose and that causes everything.
And with that, that will take Hunter Johnson out of the race. We'll see if anyone else will also decide to take it behind the wall here. Miguel Bento, Corey Cook, Brandon Wilkinson, Toga Hasato. It's safe to say Toga Hasato with the engine damage that is going to end his night for sure.
Yeah, there's shadow of a racing deal between Cook and Collins. I will say Tommy Gossett was very lucky to get out of there with everybody catching on fire around him. Otherwise, that strategy would have been very bust.
Well, you know what? Let's go on board with Tommy Gossett as he tried to negotiate through all that.
I think it's going to take a moment.
Yeah, we'll see. Give it a moment from our producer to see if we can get it on board of Tommy Gossett. As Vroman nearly said hello to the barriers on pit entrance.
He's done that every single time on pit road, and one of these days he's going to do the Spencer Burns and hit the tire barrier when he's trying to fake it out.
On board with that incident.
And this has kind of gone towards panic time. I think we're already getting ready for a restart soon. That's how quick it's going because so many lap cars are getting into wrecks here.
Absolutely here. So we'll hold off on that replay here in a little bit. So we'll have the replay ready to show that dodge, bob, and weave as we'll get a restart here and see how this plays out unless Tommy does it again. And if in case another incident shows, as the green flag is back out, Conklin, Roman get themselves sorted and pull away from the competition. Pisciato, Houghton will battle for third.
Hitter with all that damage is still holding very strong, and this is not a good squeeze. Yet again. Just quite simply, 2.5 lanes. Herrera did not give Gitter any space.
Here's one from last caution with Tommy Gossett.
Oh, this is Klein, in fact.
There's Tommy up ahead as he snaked his way through all that, and Klein didn't make it through. As Dalton Collins takes it behind the wall. Here's Tommy Gossett.
This is now 2 straight incidents he's had to dodge. This first one, chaos, get quickly on the brakes, quickly find a hole, floor it, and run. He's lucky he didn't get clipped on the quarter panel.
Run indeed, because there is nowhere to hide.
And this current caution period, there's a lot of chatter about the 3 wide. Remember, going through wide requires giving each other the space. The 33, talked about the squish and the getter. You can also argue there wasn't as much space for the inside line if we could get that look too soon.
Yeah, we'll go back live here momentarily as we are under caution. I think we lost count. I think we're over 10 as we'll have a replay here.
Yeah. Again, there's Gossett. Some of the others. Incident happens ahead, and yet again, thread the needle.
Dive to the bottom and pray for they stay up there.
But eventually we'll run out of range. Eventually somebody's going to hit the incident limit. Getter and Schurer Jr. and Bento have all hit it from this chaos right here. Oh, and Cody Richardson now too. On the bright side, we already did RTP, so no panic for Richmond RTP?
For now, until it's added back on for the next time. I do see black flags for Miguel Bento and Cody Richardson right now.
That's what I was about to say. It's a 17 incident penalty. It's meaning all of them have to serve a drive-through under Green Taylor. Disaster for their chance the rest of the way. What's up? I think we've lost Taylor.
Nope, I'm still here. Go ahead, Justin.
I thought you were going to make a quick point.
Oh no, I was not. I was waiting to see your thoughts about how this could all play out. As we give a shout out to Jacob Schneider, who's tuning in live on GridVision, as well as racing. So
he's on the track.
Yeah, well, he said hello to, I believe, Miss Jen Bragoli, who's tuning in. So, Jacob, if you want to come up here and talk to us in the booth, we'll be happy to talk to you during the race. And we know you hear us because you're in this race and you're watching live on GridVision.
Once again, we do not promote texting and driving while in a race. Is what's the lane of the green? And I believe somebody tried to drop to the back to avoid a penalty, and Patrick Gitter.
Yeah, Patrick Gitter is one Edward Shear Jr. I don't want to see if I can find a way to pull up all the incident points of each driver and see who has no incident points. I wish we could see that.
I'm pretty sure a producer can see it. I'm going to guess it's a lot of double digits. That's all I'll say. Nobody's having their safety rating spared at the rate we're going.
Absolutely not. Maybe Conklin might be able to, but everyone else so far no. Green flag is back out. We're back racing here as Houghton spins the tires and we're under caution again.
I don't know what to say other than
Houghton spun the tires.
more like I think Houghton hit the chip and then his teammate had nowhere to go. That's Miller Bonds. Hits him as he's getting squirrely, and here we go.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors after this second look here. And we will hopefully be back with some green flag racing action, or at least to catch the next incident. You're watching the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split live here at Richmond, only on GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, welcome back to the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split as we are 60 laps to go left here tonight as Sean Conklin will get the green flag and lead the field as we work their way through. 3 wide once again as they come off turn number 2. And let's see if they've learned anything here tonight as they work their way through the 32 machine, dropping further and further back as they come to serve their penalties under green flag.
A lot more. Paul Bergoli, Matt Cox, lots of others continuing to build up the penalties here. And now it's going to get even more tricky. You have cars leaving pit road from the drive-thrus in front of the leaders. This is going to get extremely wild now.
Very much so, as they will go 1 lap down. Paul Bergoli, along with Matt Cox, are also coming up in front as Patrick Kidder also, who's a lap down. Here we go. Milbachler around. Pisciato and multi others involved in this one. As big break for Matt Cox as he will get the lucky duck.
Yeah, I believe everybody served penalties at least. That's the bright side. Downside.
Caution.
For drivers towards the back. Team on a teammate warfare with the loose moment, maybe? No. Just
No.
quite simply, Milbacher got loose on his own. I think there is one driver in this zone, though, who cannot catch any breaks. Edward Sherr Jr.'s been in everything lately.
Absolutely. As we ride on board here with Milbachler, just loops it around in the middle of the corner. No contact, and 12 of Bergoli almost get it collected, and several other drivers trying to avoid that incident.
Shaka, no incident limits from there, but I think if you're the 14, you can't afford any more trouble because I'm pretty certain the next time the 14 touches a car, he's disqualified at the rate it's going.
Yeah, now the question is going to be how this will all play out here as these drivers come on to the track with some fresh tires for some of them. But is that the right call? Well, we'll find out for them as they progress further into the race.
And at this rate, I'm not shocked we've seen so many drivers just say, you know what? I'm not going in there. I'm not going into the crazy. I'm not pitting. You've got 50, 60 lap old tires up front. At the rate we're going, the fresh tires are in 17th. Unless we get a long run, that Conklin, Vroman, and company, I think, can just keep it calm. Now, Tommy Gossett, on the other hand, is the first on some of the fresher tires. I think if you give him enough laps, he can catch up to the lead if it goes green.
The question is, how long could it stay green?
Well, we are running out of cars, so I'd say it's up to the field.
It certainly is going to be up to the field of drivers here, but we'll see how it all plays out as we progress.
Honestly, can't tell with the silence if you're trying to think what to say or disbelief on the caution count.
Mix of both, I would have to say, Justin. I mean, because we're at the point right now where it's just giving it a moment. We touched on just about every strategy that these drivers can do between now and the finish.
And at this mark, it's what tires do you have, and better yet, do you have the car that can make passes on fresh tires?
Exactly.
I think we're just about ready to do it again, though. There's the different mix of strategies that keep hearing on the radio. There's, I want to hold on. You have people like Jordan Booth on the radio who say, don't be afraid to move me. I wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, let's not be saying that, because that could cause more issues here as they get ready to enter into the restart zone. Conklin and Vroman will lead us to the green flag. Salamosa goes way wide up to the top of the racetrack here. Interesting call. As they enter the restart zone, green flag is back out. Conklin and Vroman pull away, and everyone makes it through to the restart this time. Let's see if they can survive turn 1 and 2.
Somehow, I think Pajari and Cook just got black flags. I'm not sure how, and Pajari's parking in front of cars. That was a dangerous lift, and Cook just floored into the pit wall.
Corey Cook comes down as we are under caution for Milbachler looping it around on the front stretch.
And my goodness, yet again, Milbachler, I think, needs to fix the car. I think he might, at this point, have picked up something if he keeps on self-spinning like this.
Now, did he do it by himself?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Great dodge by the 20, though. That's Thomas Hazard. Remember him from the league scene a few years ago? That was a great dodge. Just mash the brake, straight in the nose, get around it.
Absolutely, as we'll get a look here at Corey Cook, and I don't know what he was trying to do.
He was trying to serve a penalty,
but it didn't work.
That was
he served the penalty.
Yeah, at what cost?
Oh, I didn't say it was. There was a cost, but as you see, Thomas Hazard surviving that.
Yeah, this is to where I think Cook's going to realize when looking back, maybe I should have followed Pajari on the penalty and just say, you know what, I should just not do that. But big if you're Bergoli, you're back on the lead lap now if you're Paul.
Absolutely, so a big help right there for Paul Bergoli. And next week's Martinsville.
Oh, word.
So let's keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen.
Over and under cautions, I put it at 20, based on this week.
I'm kind of in the middle. I think maybe 10.
John Conklin, though, has a good chance to make up for what happened in RTP here, if he can get himself at least a win in the NiS race. For reference, he was amongst those battling top half of the field most of that race before contact with Boyd Hogan and a battle of who's going to give space down the front stretch during 3 wide. Nobody wanted to lift. Both of them crashed.
Looking through the field here, I'll take a look and see who some of our biggest movers. It's going to be, so far, Luis Alamosa sitting in 6th position after starting 33rd. One of your drivers who has not been doing too well has to go to Paul Bergoli. He did just get back on the lead lap, but he started 8th, sitting 22nd. As Corey Cook has taken it behind the wall, he is done for the night, leaving 30 cars left on the track.
Yeah, right now for Conklin, this continues to go perfect. He's in very good spirits. You know how I know he's in good spirits, Taylor?
Do tell.
He's taking drive-through orders over the radio.
Oh, nice.
He is pretending to be a drive-through window over the radio.
Well, what would you like to take for tonight since he's making these orders?
Apparently, there's a bidding war for sandwich prices in the in-sim chat. I don't understand anymore.
Well, on that note, I'll take me a nice big cheeseburger. As our producer wants a number 7, whichever number 7 that is for wherever he chooses.
Sir, this is NiS.
As we're back racing here once again, we're going to have a little fun. Under 50 laps to go as they work their way through the middle of turn 1 and 2. As Conklin, Roman, and Schneider will be your top 3 as they make the run down towards turn 3 and 4. Everyone makes it clean and green for the moment. As Salmosa tries to battle with Alex Murray and Pisciato and Tommy Gossett. Tommy Gossett now back into the top 5.
Yeah, that's to be expected with the tire difference right now. Just slow roll it on the bottom. Just pick them off one by one, and here we go again. And it looks like Edward Scherer just picked himself up more damage. Miller Bonds, black flag. Miller Bonds ships his teammate. How are we still green, despite everyone's best efforts?
Don't jinx us just yet. Let's watch the action here as they try to get themselves sorted out. James Houghton, though, might have to possibly be serving a penalty here. But Miller Bonds for sure have to serve a drive-through penalty in order to continue on racing here tonight.
Yeah, that's a race killer yet again. But now up front and up middle. Look at this, Tommy Gossett's losing a lot of time. In fact, he is stuck behind Austin Fitzgerald. All of a sudden, Fitzgerald has found a rocket.
He certainly has here as he is trying to work his way through. Gossett trying to get that top 5 finish here with he get around the EP or the Team Conti driver of Alex Murray.
Yeah, now there's a lot of traffic for them to potentially deal with, potentially soon here. Now this is where I'm keeping an eye, though, on tire differences and adjustments. Murray's had to make a lot of damage repairs. Others on fresh tires. They're starting to come through like Wilkinson and company. This is where, as a driver, if you have teammates or better yet, crew members just even spectating, get communication, try and figure out who's on what compound to make sure you don't get ran over by a freight train of fresher tires.
Absolutely here as we watch on and see as trying to see which 45 driver that one is. This is Patovich right here. He is working his way up through, battling with Jordan Booth for the 8th position as Patovich drops back behind Booth. And then right behind is Bruno Milo, who I'm surprised is still racing after some of the damage and issues he's had to deal with.
I'm surprised a lot of them are, but this week the cars and trucks have been made out of tank material, it almost seems like. There were a lot of drivers involved in incidents in RTP. Oh my, what? That's Luis Salmazo on his own who just had a tank slapper.
He's able to gather it back up, but he will lose a couple of spots, drops back to P10.
Look at this up front, though. Vrillman trying to go from Brum. No place to poke yet. Just continuing to roll the bottom slowly.
And that's what they've been doing here. Like a nice, strong run. And look how much they're rolling through the corner here. And that is really playing out for both of them. Schneider sitting right there in third and starting to stretch out just a little bit.
Look at this now with Snyder. He's doing this with damage still in that right front. That hurt him a little bit. Not as much as, say, a mile and a half, especially on that right front. But he's still running a couple hundreds quicker compared to his teammates. I think he's got a little bit better of the drive control maybe to reel in those leaders so long as he's good until he gets into dirty air fully.
Currently now, as Gossett has been making up time here, he's running almost identically to your race leader, Sean Conklin. Thing is, does he have enough time to make the run for the race lead?
Yeah, Gossett's going the wrong way. Others like Wilkinson, this gets back exactly to where I mentioned. You get stuck in traffic like this, it's very difficult, even on fresher tires. And that can really equalize things with the fall-off differential. You only have about 7-8 tenths of fall-off so far throughout the run through most of the tire differences. Wilkinson just quite simply wait for holes.
Oh.
Instead, it is Salamozo who gets himself turned around because two drivers behind him turn each other.
Tough break right there as Pisciata has some more issues here. Let's see if that causes a penalty.
And believe that was with Howden. Gonna have to see this. Howden was trying to get a run. Swooped up to the outside.
Oh.
Huh.
Interesting.
That was one of the longest runs of the race. I will say that. That's gonna make things very fun for strategy, but I can see why he was trying to swoop to the bottom, but that was not clear.
Absolutely not. Possibly should have been better just to back it up just a tick. Wait a second, but now the question is who's all coming down pit road? Conklin, Vroman, Fitzgerald, Wallet, Rogers, Klein, Rigoli, Pisciato. Pretty much your top 10 decide to, or your top 8 stay on the track. Everyone else comes down pit road.
Yeah, there's so much to kind of unpack here because drivers should stay out. They've absolutely made their bed here. I don't know about this bed being like this, though. You're talking about nearly half the race on the same tires. It is a strat I've seen work if you have enough cars between you and the freshies. But Jacob Snyder, he might, if he survives this layer of traffic and gets enough layers to cut through, he can take this away from his teammates.
Could be a possibility. We'll see how it plays out for Jacob Schneider. He's got about under 30 laps left to try to see if he can work his way up through the field quickly. And he's been one of your biggest movers tonight.
I mean, everybody's been up and down the field at this point. It's up 26. You know who's up 26 as your biggest right now, though? Jason Wallet, for the first time all race, amongst those staying out on strat. For Wallet, I'm curious because he's had damage repairs done. He's taken top-offs. He's been in the pit lane 8 times. He might be able to do something, at least for the top half of the field from this, if he doesn't get sent around here.
That is the question. And, of course, he's sporting the Insomnia cookies. Machine. Good company, I have to say. They make great cookies.
And also one of those who races in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series through his University of Drexel. He's been a long-time sim racer, at least nearly a decade now, give or take. But huge test for the leaders coming up here. Huge test for drivers even like Paul Bergoli, who was the lucky dog a couple cautions ago. He too stayed out. He's had 20 pit stops.
That's incredible. 20 pit stops.
The Jordan Worth strat?
We'll find out who can try to see if they can do more pit stops here.
Salmazo did pick up a black flag, so he'll have to serve a black. Here we go again.
And we're back at it here once again. Conklin and Broman pull away. Fitzgerald tries to follow suit in third position. As the battle for fourth between Wallet and Rogers battles as caution is out. One car around.
Yeah, that was not where I expected that to be at the rate it was going. I started panicking in my seat when I seen Bergoli push the emergency brake and pull back 3 lanes to set the 5 wide up. But it's Milbach that's the cause because, well, he lost it again. Just got loose on entry.
Absolutely.
Take a guess who just picked up an incident point penalty. Car 15. And now I'm really liking Conklin's strategy at this rate.
Yeah.
This almost seems like the type of race at the rate we're going here, where we might see a Brady strat to come back from a lap down or multiple laps down and possibly get a top 10 at this rate. Bergoli, I think, is the king of that strategy if he can survive now. Because he straight up knew if he stayed normal pace, he wasn't sticking the bottom, I think, Taylor.
I think I just heard someone spin under this situation.
Oh my goodness, someone actually just did spin it. What was Miguel Bento the lucky dog doing?
Well,
Wow.
Okay. I mean, he did it. No, well, I was going to say he did it with style if he was able to loop it back around without hitting the wall.
Now, before anyone asks, a lap earlier, he wouldn't have been lucky dog. I'll just say that. Yeah, he just got loose down the straightaway, got tire spin to the gears. I mean, I will say on the radio, Miguel Bento's in high spirits. He now says, now I gave you something to talk about.
Yeah, that was something to talk about, for sure.
I mean, that's something he'll be remembered for the next year, but it's something to talk about.
It is. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are curious, this is iRacing. For those of you who might be new, I noticed a couple of people who are wondering what this is. This is one of the top premier simulators that you can utilize to race at some of the most unique tracks in oval, dirt, or road course racing. And this is one of the premier official series that you get the chance to race in that follows the 36 weeks of NASCAR. And we promise you, not all the races are like this. This is just the habit of short track racing. As, yes, Justin. I'm wondering what's going on here, too.
It seems normal to me. I'm joking. In all seriousness, the mile and a half is nothing like this.
Absolutely not.
But hey, we're 21 laps away from the green-white checkers.
Oh, don't remind me. So, Justin, you want to do this again Sunday morning? I know.
Some people will.
Oh, I know. That's the funny thing. Some people will literally get up as we get the green flag and go back racing here with 20 laps to go, not counting the green-white checkers.
Oh, they're already 3 and 4. Jordan Booth just got shuffled away.
So it's safe to say he got the boot. As one car hits the wall, and there they go. Both the Brunos. We are talking about Bruno tonight. As Milo and Pereira loop it around off turn 2. As James Roy Millbachler takes it behind the wall.
Top split, good at top split. Just, yeah. For those wondering, Booth got shuffled into that situation because I believe Brandon Wilkinson followed the used rules by several people saying if it's green, I can jump right. Forced him 3 wide, got him shuffled in the next corners. No one cleared on the inside lines, and they try to clear him.
Yep. As more cars get involved in the aftermath of that.
Yep. Patrick Gitter. Luis Salvaso, another black flag. Actually, I'm not even sure if he served the other one yet.
Patrick Gitter is disqualified.
That sucks for Gitter. I know it's point blank, but most of the time, nothing's been Gitter's full fault in these. And now, he's going to have a long rest of the week from this. But the others, Jacob Snyder is up to 4th. Here we go.
And probably go back green with just about 15 laps to go, not counting a green-white checkered.
He's got this if it goes green for more than 5 laps.
Absolutely. So this could be a big surprise here for Jacob Schneider with some great strategy calls.
I am going to keep an eye on one thing, though.
Do tell.
Remember, it's on the restart, control the leader, right? The 4, again, has been using the rule of if it's green, you can pull to the outside and pass right. Got to keep an eye on the 3 wide because expect that from row 5 yet again. He's not been afraid to say, I've read the rule book, I'm going to go. As much as everybody does not like that.
Well, if you were ahead of the driver in question, would you consider just going up against the wall to prevent said things?
Some people actually send you for that. Now, counterpoint. There are some that will say absolutely not a good thing. I'm in the argument of you shouldn't be doing that before the start and finish line. NASCAR says don't pass before the start and finish line. But the iRacing rule is different after all, and some people know that. That's all I'll say.
Well, we'll see how this plays out here as lights are off. We are coming to next time when they come and take the green. 5 laps left to go. Is this enough for Schneider to make the run to get around both Conklin and Vroman? So we'll see here as Schneider backs off just a little bit.
Gonna need to time it up right. Already can sense a lot of nervousness in the reel. Jacob Klein, give him credit, is in the top 10 despite the fact I don't think we know we see the 21 up there.
Well, we're about to see if he can finish it off here as they enter the restart zone. Green flag. Schneider tries to follow suit with his teammate of Roman. Say green.
Klein talked himself into nerves, messed up the start, and here we go. It's 3 wide around him.
3 wide as they come off of turn number 2, and now they gather it back up. Klein holds strong for the moment as drivers try to jockey around him for position. Keeping an eye on the race leader, though. Can Schneider close the gap as they come around here? It's going to be 4 laps left to go for the drivers as the caution is out. And green-white checkered attempt number 1.
You've knocked a digit off that lap count, I think. We got 13 to go. I know you wish.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. I was so close. I was rushing the field a little bit. I thought I saw a 9 instead of an 8. My apologies on that.
Let's try this again. But mistake. Loose at the bottom.
As they're trying to go for 20 cautions.
Snyder's now at the bottom, though, because now with the pass he made before the caution on Fitzgerald, battle definitely on the next restart for the lead, because if he times it up simply with Conklin on the gas, gets past Vroman gives him space, he can immediately pass Conklin, or try to attack him at least. And now, you still give the teammates respect. You don't wreck your teammate, but it's still going to be an intense fight. In theory, Conklin's not just going to give it to him.
We'll see what happens here as they pace around the field once again. So they're coming over the radio and saying the broadcasters definitely will go into overtime.
I mean, I expected 2.5 hours. We're nearly there. PB Henry is on the lead lap, and we have run out of 1 lap down cars.
Oh, see what Cody Richardson can do. So we'll see what happens here, and no. Yes, Darby's pick is looking quite strong to maybe possibly take the win here tonight.
All the strategy, I will say, is intriguing. Tommy Gossett may have a good shot at the top 5 at minimum here because he's on the same cycle of tires as Snyder. But you know who also is on their cycle and is in the top 8? After all the struggles to start, Nicholas Patovich has recovered so decently. He's 3rd on the tire strat. Just survive, and you can get a top 5 still too. It wasn't looking like he would have been in the top half with the way it was looking at the start.
Absolutely, and we're going to see how this could play out for him before this is all said and done, as we watch on and wait to see if we'll get the one to go next time by, possibly.
Should be an 8-lap shootout because they're already doubling up, so 2 laps to green this time, coming to 1. So Bruno Pereira and Luis Salomso still have to serve black flags. And apparently, I'm curious what everyone else is going to be added up at by the night this time the night is done on the incident count.
Yeah, I'm just looking through to see, can they serve their penalty before the checkered flag falls, because if they don't serve it, that's disqualification for both of them.
Yeah, but I'm still going to be watching inside here in a moment. Already the one to go, Taylor.
Absolutely.
But Snyder, he's going to be flying. Keep an eye on that once they go to the restart zone.
Enter into the restart zone. Conklin, Vroman, Schneider right there in the mix as the green flag is out. Let's ride on board with Schneider as he tries to see if he can go and take the lead from his Ryco Performance teammates heading down into turn 1. He looks to the inside of Vroman, side by side for the race second position. As they come through the middle of turns 1 and 2, Vroman will vroom by him off turn 2 as Salamosa is trying to get down to pit to serve his penalty.
I believe he's been able to in the heart of the field. Outside of that, that was not the start Schneider did. He just did not get to the gears. 4 wide again. Here we go.
And can he save it? No. We're still green. We're still green. We're going to keep it clean and green for the moment. Everyone's trying to continue. Barney was done. Barney was done with waving the yellow flag. That's what it is.
I just can't believe what I just seen. There were cars backwards. Here we go. This is going to get fun.
Out of turn number 4, Conklin holds strong over Vroman. Schneider trying to close the gap, but cannot find his way to get around. He's going to stay tucked up behind his 2 Ryco Performance teammates as they work through the middle of turns 1 and 2 and try to separate themselves from the rest of the field. 5 laps to go as they head down the back straightaway into 3 and 4.
And right now, Conklin, I still think has that chance. He's got the clean air. Even with the fresher tires, Snutter behind. Snutter's just not been able to close this up in the pace he's needed to be able to try and peel it. Let's see what just happened, though. How we're not under caution, I don't know.
Right there, Brigoli tries to save it, does a decent job, but unfortunately just snaps back on him, collecting several other drivers. But yeah, interesting of why the caution did not come out. But as we pick up live here, once again, 3 laps to go for Sean Conklin as he comes out at turn number 2 down the back straightaway here. Drivers trying to work their way through and just get to the end of this grueling race. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go for your race leader, Sean Conklin, as he tries to pull the hat trick here at Richmond as they head off into 1 and 2.
He's led more than half the race he's been since getting up at the front, and it's not over.
Who was it? I want to look at this person and point to him in shame. Is it Panovich?
Yeah, I think he just went around on his own with some help from Booth after getting loose. Yep. Watch 24. Wibble, wobble, nowhere for Booth to go.
And then Booth gives him a little bit of a nudge. I'll look at both Booth and Panovich, Barney the flagman, and just looking at these drivers saying, I gave you a pass.
But hey, we only have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. Will we use them all?
I hope not. We did go about 3 laps without a caution. As Luis Salamosa does come down pit road and takes it behind the wall. His night is done, leaving 27 cars out on the track, 23 on the lead lap as Bajara and Patovich are getting some repairs done.
And hello, Jason Wallet. Thank you for subscribing for your race car.
Very much appreciate that, Jason. And could you bring us some insomnia cookies, please? That's all we ask.
This has been one of the more wilder races I think I've seen, and I call it the Top Split RTP race last night. They just topped it with the intensity level of everybody destroy each other. We have more cars remaining than I thought we would still.
I agree. I'm surprised we have so many cars still left in this race.
Hey, I'll give some huge positivity here. Everybody in the top 18 except for Brandon Wilkinson is gaining iRating if they survive. Insert Brandon finding out and being sad.
Well, the record, of course, for cautions on a GridVision broadcast is 29, and that's at Martinsville last year in the fall race. So we'll see how this plays out here. Believe we're just shy of 20.
I think next Martinsville broadcast has a chance to top that.
Possibly.
To be honest.
Possibly. If we see what we saw here tonight, continue on next week.
Yeah, that. Not talking just about the gear shifts, Martinsville, but just talking about how you just have to use the bumper to make moves. This is a hard car, as you've seen, at low speeds to bump and run. In the virtual world, at least.
Well, the thing is, at least till the white flag, we don't want to bump and run. Wait till the white flag, at least.
I still think Snyder has a shot. It's not a stronger shot than it was earlier with the pace difference here. He needs to just about be on Conklin's bumper if he wants a chance row 2 here. Otherwise, it's game on for the front row drivers.
Well, here we go. First attempt of a green-white checkered as they head into the restart zone. Fred, the pace car driver, will make that left turn down on the pit road. Barney, the flag man, looking pretty tired, but ever watchful as he waves the green flag. Conklin checks out on the field as they head off into turns 1 and 2 as the two Hard Rock Tampa cars will tow side by side for second as they come off of turn number 2, working their way down the back straightaway. Just got to take the white flag to make it official. Can we do it? Sean Conklin out of turn number 4. He will see the white flag one more time around for the Ryco Performance white flag here as Sean Conklin leads the charge here as they come out of turn number 2 for the final time here tonight. Down the back straightaway, Sean Conklin just being so smooth, making the right strategy call, being consistent. He will now complete the hat trick and go 3 for 3 as they go side by side for second. Sean Conklin wins at Richmond.
Well deserved for Conklin. More than half the race laps led. Had the pace once he was up at the front. Started up towards the front. Stayed up at the front even with the strat. Well deserved.
Well-deserved victory. I hope he gives us some donuts and puts on a show for us here after that one. As he will come through onto the front straightaway and sets to burn it down here at Richmond to complete the three-peat here tonight. Go ahead.
Remember my keys from earlier? About keeping it clean, keeping it patient, buckling up. Conklin went at just 2 drivers without any incident points in the race. Not a scratch on him outside of those on the right front fenders from earlier on in the race, side by side with Broman. He kept it clean all night. And as I said, you keep it clean, you win the race.
I think it's safe to say between him, Broman, and Garrett Maines, these are the 3 we're going to have to watch that will do battle for the overall championship in NIS this year. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will have your top 3 interviews as well as your final results for tonight. You're watching Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split live from Richmond Raceway, only on GridVision. Welcome back to Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split here from Richmond. We just wrapped up the race, and Sean Conklin, leading a total of 118 laps, will win the race. Nicholas Broman, 47 laps led, will come home second, with Schneider in third, Fitzgerald fourth. How about Tommy Gossett coming home in the top 5, 41 laps led. Murray will come home sixth, with James Houghton, Joseph Pisciato, Sean Rogers, and Jason Wallet will come up home in 10th.
Jordan Booth finishing in 11th in a 23 cash-in affair. Brandon Wilkinson finishes 12th. Matt Cox in 13th. Bruno Mello survives from 26th to 14th. Miller Bonds, he comes back from a drive-through penalty to finish 15th. Thomas Hazard started near the very back of the field, finished midfield in 16th. Jacob Klein in one of his meme patrol machines in 17th. Miguel Bento 18th. Edward Shearer in 19th. And PB Henry, the top 20.
As we move further on through the field, 21st position will be Paul Bergoli, Alan Pajara, 22nd, Nolan Hodgson, and Nicholas Patovich in 23rd and 24th, Logan Powers, Cody Richardson, Bruno Piera, and Luis Salmosa, Patrick Gitter, James Roy, Mil Bachler round out your top 30, then Corey Cook, Togo Hosada, Dalton Collins, Hunter Johnson, Joshua Watson, Omar Diallo, and Rodrigo Franzoni round out your 37-car field here tonight. As we get a chance to talk to your top 3, let's start off with Jacob Schneider, who joins us in here. He is with, of course, Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed, Jacob. First things first. Had the freshest tires for the very end. What did he need to be able to get there and patch your 2 teammates?
I had a little bit of right front damage. It made it pretty tight. And then I could get to him, but the dirty air made me even tighter, so I was just kind of stuck.
There was a lot of, how should I say, interesting banter over the radio tonight in the midst of 23 cautions. What was going through your mind as we've seen a flurry of strategy and destroyed race cars?
Yeah, I had a bit of sensory overload there. There was so much going on all race. I don't even know. I don't even know what to tell you happened. But yeah, I think I only caused 1 yellow, so I guess I had a part in it. I gotta apologize to my teammate Joshua Watson. I took him out. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of people driving over their head, making mistakes, and I don't know, this came out of nowhere because A Opens have been clean all week.
Need I remind you, next week we're at Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, it felt like we were already there.
Well, expectations for when we do get there then?
It'll probably be just like this. If it's anything like normal Martinsville, unless something major changed.
Okay, so the standard has been set to the floor. Who do you want to thank for tonight, I should say?
Got to thank everyone at Ryco, all my teammates. This wasn't really a good race to display all of our speed we have here this week, but we still finished 1, 2, 3. Congrats to Sean and Broman. And yeah, just thanks to my family, my wife, sister is watching the broadcast. Appreciate it. Appreciate the broadcast.
Well, congratulations on the top 3, Jacob.
Appreciate it, Justin.
Jacob Snyder, finishing 3rd, Taylor.
Next up to join us will be the driver of Nicholas Vroman. Nicholas, surviving here was the biggest key to factor to get you to 2nd place here tonight. Walk us through tonight's race for you. I mean, you definitely had to be patient out there.
I don't even know what to say. That was one of the dumbest races I've ever done on iRacing. I mean, there's this pure awful between everybody. I guess the only thing I can say is just don't pit. That's what we did last pit at 87, just stayed out. So,
what do you think is the biggest factor for just this over-aggressive racing? Because from the start to finish, drivers just going 3, 4, 5 wide even at some points, and not being patient enough to at least get a little bit of a run in.
just people's emotions, you know, a lot of emotion out there on track. Driving over their skill level, I guess. I don't know. It was just terrible.
Before we let you go, Nicholas, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Everybody at Ryco, man. You know, Jacob put in a lot of work this week, as always. You know, Ken. Everyone over there, man. Good racing with Sean. I think I could have got him if we would have got a few more green flag laps, but this wasn't meant to be. So, you know, good win to him, and shout out to you guys here tonight for the broadcast. I'm sure that was very long and very boring.
Well, we did our best to try to make it entertaining as best we could. So, Nicholas Vroman coming home in second place as we get a chance, hopefully now, to talk to our race winner. He goes 3 for 3 in NiS Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split. Sean Conklin joins us up here in the booth. Sean, I mean, you pulled probably the best strategy that anyone could do. Stay in the lead no matter what.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I actually took it after Rumen. That was his strategy to win an A Open earlier, and it paid off. So I was like, maybe we'll try it, and it wound up paying off. I was just kept hoping for those cautions, and we got them. And yeah, just it was a long one, that was for sure. About an hour overdue from when we should have finished. But I mean, we were making the best of a bad situation. We were having fun in Discord, just goofing around and whatnot, just making each other laugh. So it was a decent time under caution. It wasn't like brutal awful. It definitely wasn't the best of races. Rumen was faster than me there. I just we were able to stay out front, and he cut me a couple breaks, and big respect for that. Definitely could have moved me or turned me at any point and got the win. So big respect for that. And he just overall raced me clean. And yeah, it was just good racing between us.
Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to say thank you to, Sean?
Yeah, just big shout out to Ryco, obviously. I mean, this setup is just phenomenal. Short run, long run, like, it's no matter what kind of driver you are, especially this week, like, you're running a different line from everyone. It's just driving style, the way you want to drive the track, and it's very unique to everyone's driving style, but this setup can go anywhere and still be fast. So definitely a big shout out to Ryco Performance.
Well, that is your race winner. He goes 3 in a row on Ryco Performance broadcast this past couple of weeks. Sean Conklin, your winner here at Richmond. Justin, I want to come to you here for final thoughts on tonight's race.
It was a race of all time. It was a race that everybody seemed to make the goal of destroying as many race cars as possible. But it was quintessential short track racing. Sean Conklin showed the speed, absolutely. Same for Broman and Snyder. Absolutely deserving the top 3 with how they ran pace-wise throughout the night. All I can say is, get your bubble wrap ready next week.
Bubble wrap, safety helmets, everything, but let's take a look to see what other events are happening this next week on GridVision. Of course, it all starts Monday night with the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split with the A and B cars, before we have Tuesday doubleheader with the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series also at Martinsville, as well as also the Stars Championship Series at Sebring. Wednesday night, we began the Dash for Cash for the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. And then, of course, Friday, we'll be back here with the Friday Night Top Split presented by Ryco Performance at Martinsville. Well, with that, it is time that we bring to another conclusion of a great Ryco Performance Top Split here on Friday night. With that, we say goodnight for Justin Prince and our producer Austin Derbyshire, the entire GridVision team, as well as the entire amazing camera works from Whiplash Cams and Andrew Cardinal. I'm Taylor Burris, and we will see you next time on the grid.